The silence in Suwaida is heavy, thick with grief and the memory of violence. The city's usual sounds, market chatter, children's laughter, the call to prayer, are gone. Now, only soft weeping and the crunch of broken glass remain. Bullet holes scar the old city's walls, silent witnesses to chaos. A dark stain on a street corner marks a life lost. People hurry past, eyes averted. The memory lingers everywhere, in empty chairs, missing students, and haunted eyes. This is not peace, but shock. Black, mourning clothes fill the streets, a stark reminder of fresh wounds. An old man sits outside his shop, silent, his sorrow plain. Suwaida, heartland of Syria's Druze, is now a ghost of itself, fear replacing community spirit. "We are all really terrified," a local activist whispers. Fear seeps into every home, poisoning daily life. The city waits, dreading the next sound that might shatter the silence. July 15, 2025, began like any other summer night in Suwaida. Families gathered, a wedding in full swing, music and laughter in the air. Then masked gunmen descended, predators in the dark. They targeted homes and gatherings, not soldiers but civilians. Survivors recall gunmen moving house to house, firing at anyone, men, women, even children. A wedding turned massacre, the bride's dress stained with blood. One mother clutches her son's photo. He was only 17, he never carried a weapon. Her son died trying to help a wounded neighbor. Over 1,000 lives were lost in a single week, each death a universe of pain. At the National Hospital, doctors worked frantically, overwhelmed by the carnage. Entire families wiped out, names reduced to casualty lists. For Suwaida, life split in two before the attack, and the uncertain haunted after. The violence left not just bullet holes, but deep wounds in every survivor. The city's spirit was shattered, its people forever changed. The world outside moved on, but Suwaida's grief remained. The silence after the massacre was louder than any scream. To grasp this tragedy, you must know the Druze, a unique ancient community whose faith is secret, their loyalty unbreakable. Their beliefs center on reincarnation, truthfulness, and a fierce commitment to each other, shaping their identity for centuries. The Druze have always been mountain people, rooted in Jabal al-Druze's rugged plateau. Their land has been both refuge and fortress, preserving their culture through centuries of upheaval. Known for independence, they led the 1925 revolt against the French. As a small minority, they survived by balancing loyalty and pragmatism. During Syria's civil war, they stayed neutral, defending their own lands. After Assad's fall in 2024, they felt more vulnerable than ever. The recent attacks struck at their core, threatening not just lives, but the very identity that has sustained them. Grief swept Suwaida after the massacres, the city awash in funerals. Mourning was public, thousands marched, united in sorrow. But grief soon turned to anger. Processions became protests. Prayers gave way to demands for justice. Faces of victims, children, brides, elders, were held high. The community's silence broke, their voices rose in fury. Daily demonstrations called for protection and accountability. For a people long on the sidelines, this was a turning point. The violence forced them to demand their rights on a national stage. They felt abandoned, unprotected, desperate for order. The protests were a plea, never again. Funerals became front lines, grief became their weapon. The Druze would not be silent victims any longer. Southern Syria's politics are a maze, and the Druze are trapped in the middle. After Assad's fall, a power vacuum brought competing militias and a weak interim government. The violence began with a kidnapping, but quickly spiraled. Government-linked gunmen, Bedouin groups, and Druze militias all clashed. For ordinary people, the lines blurred, trust vanished. The Druze, proud but underarmed, faced threats from all sides. Their leaders were divided. Some called for international help, others for autonomy or engagement with Damascus. This division left them vulnerable, unsure of allies or enemies. The community is besieged, alienated, and fighting for survival in their ancestral home. The crisis is as much existential as political. Into this chaos, Israel intervened, airstrikes against government forces, claiming to protect the Druze. For some, the jets brought relief, for others, new danger. The strikes halted militias, but painted the Druze as collaborators, fueling accusations and threats. International condemnation was swift, deepening the Druze's isolation. Instead of safety, the intervention made them pawns in a regional game. The scars left by foreign intervention run deeper than bullet holes. The Druze are now more exposed than ever, caught in a storm not of their making. Amid sorrow and chaos, a quiet strength rises in Syria. Youth lead the way, cleaning streets, repairing walls, refusing to let their city die. Neighbors share resources, support the bereaved, and hold candlelight vigils. These acts of solidarity are the antidote to fear and division. The dead are remembered, their stories kept alive as symbols of endurance. The future is uncertain, wounds still raw, but hope flickers. Resilience and unity are the Druze's legacy. They have survived before, they will endure again. As they rebuild, they carry sorrow and strength in equal measure. The mountain people refuse to be broken.